On the world news tonight, Tinubu welcomes PEPT's verdict, seeks collective effort to build Nigeria. I refuse to accept presidential tribunal ruling. It is bereft of justice, Atiku. It bereft of justice, Atiku reject tribunal judgments. It's time for them to have sense. Keyamo knocks opposition. Family demands justice over relative's murder in Ondo. And on sport, Eagles are great underachievers, says Wenger. I am Morire Rabila Lawa. The news shortly. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu yesterday responded to the news of his electoral victory, affirmed by the Presidential Election Petition Court from India, where he was participating in the G20 summit, and saluted the diligence, undoubted thoroughness, and professionalism of the five-member bench led by Justice Arunet Ameni in interpreting the law. He, however, urged his co-contestant Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and Peter Obi of the Labour Party, as well as their supporters, to give his government the requisite backing in collective interest. But the leadership of the PDP and the Labour Party have rejected the verdict of the tribunal, saying it was against reasons, facts, and evidence. This notwithstanding, President Muhammadu Buhari, who among other notable Nigerians, like the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, governors of the ruling party, and others, reacted to the tribunal ruling, said democracy and the people have won by tribunal pronouncement. Tinubu said he welcomed the judgment with an intense sense of solemn responsibility and preparedness to serve all Nigerians, irrespective of all diverse political persuasions, faith, and tribal identities. The president, in a release issued by his media aide, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, assured Nigerians of his renewed and energized focus on delivering his vision of a unified, peaceful, and prosperous nation following the judgment by the Presidential Tribunal in Abuja. He recognized the diligence, undoubted thoroughness, and professionalism of the five-member bench led by Justice Arunet Ameni in interpreting the law. The president stressed that his commitments to the rule of law and the unhindered discharge of duties by the tribunal, as witnessed in the panel's respect for the merits of the petitions brought forward. He said it further reflected the continuing maturation of Nigeria's legal system and the advancement of Africa's largest democracy at a time when our democratic system of government is under test in other parts of the continent. According to him, the presidential candidate and political parties that have lawfully exercised their right by participating in the 2023 general election and the judicial process which followed and affirmed Nigeria's democratic credentials. Tinubu urged his violent challengers to inspire their supporters to the trust that the spirit of patriotism would now and forever be elevated above partisan considerations, manifesting into support for our government and to improve the livelihood of all Nigerians. He thanked Nigerians for the mandate given to him to serve the country while promising to meet and exceed their expectations by God's grace and through diligent hard work with the team that has been put in place for that purpose. The People's Democratic Party PDP and its candidate Atiku Abubakar, as well as the Labour Party, have rejected the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal because it was against reasons, facts, and evidence.
Comment cited approvingly by the Supreme Court in Okumagba's case that I read above was also a European. He's British. He was British. I think I intend to stop here. I think I've said enough. It is for these few additions, but much more for the far more illuminating reasons advanced by my brother Harun Asaman GSC, his rulings and judgments, which reasons I concur with without reservation, that I also hold all three consolidated petitions not proved and thereby enter another dismissing all of them, and I affirm the declaration of second respondent Bola Ahmed Tinubu by second respondent as the person duly and properly returned winner of the 25th February 2023 presidential election of this country and duly elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I also abide by all other consequential orders, including that as a cause contained in the leading judgments.
Former Vice President and 2023 presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has rejected the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal judgment that affirmed the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25, 2023 presidential election. Addressing a world conference on Thursday, Atiku said the tribunal judgment failed to restore confidence. The information earlier reported that the Presidential Election Petition Court had struck out the petition filed by Peter Obi and the Labour Party LP, as well as Atiku and the PDP against President Tinubu and Vice President Kashim Shettima. The PEPC dismissed this petition, saying they lacked merit. On March 1st, INEC announced Tinubu as a winner of the presidential election contested by 18 candidates. It declared that Tinubu got a total of 8 million votes to defeat Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, who got a total of 6 million plus votes, and Obi, who came third with a total of 6.1 million votes. However, on Wednesday, the court said the petitioners failed to specify the peculiar and particular polling units and specific places where electoral malpractice occurred. Though the judgment of yesterday is respected, it is a judgment and I refuse to accept. I refuse to accept the judgment because I believe it is bereft of substantial justice, Atiku said at the ongoing World Press Conference at the PDP headquarters in Abuja. Still on the world news. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Thursday rejected the presidential election petition judgment and affirmed the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25, 2023 presidential election. Though the judgment of yesterday is respected, it is a judgment and I refuse to accept, said Atiku. Information for the said tribunal threw out the case of Atiku, who is the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate, and his Labour Party counterpart Peter Obi, and upheld the victory of Tinubu. Both Atiku and Obi rejected Wednesday's judgment of the tribunal affirming the election of Tinubu. The legal advisor to the Labour Party, Kehinde Edun, vowed to challenge the judgment at the Supreme Court. Also, Atiku lead counsel Chris Uche San said he had received instructions from his client to file an appeal at the Supreme Court. He said the judgment has been delivered, but we have not received justice. Luckily, the law has given us leverage to go on and appeal to the Supreme Court. We have instructions from our clients to go to the Supreme Court. The struggle continues. The 5-member panel took turns to dismiss the petition presented by Atiku and Obi against the declaration of Tinubu as the winner of the presidential election by the Independent National Electoral Commission on March 1, 2023. The judgment was delivered by the chairman of the tribunal, Justice Aruna Samini, assisted by other members of the panel, Justice Stephen Ada, Mansurat Balaji Yusuf, Moses Ugo, and Abba Mohammed. But addressing the press conference on Thursday, Atiku said he was not new to legal battle and he would continue to explore the judiciary for respite. However, the disappointment in the verdict of the court can never destroy my confidence in the judiciary. Consequently, I have asked my lawyers to activate my constitutional guaranteed right of appeal to the High Courts and the Higher Court, which in this instance is the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has knocked opposition seeking the nullification of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's victory during the February 25, 2023 presidential election. The minister also asked those opposed to Tinubu's victory to have some sense and embrace Tinubu's government. This is coming after the presidential election petition tribunal struck out the case of People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and his Labour Party counterpart Peter Obi, and upheld the victory of Tinubu. Information also reported that Atiku and Obi rejected Wednesday's judgment of the tribunal affirming the election of Tinubu. The legal advisor to the Labour Party, Kehinde Edun, vowed to challenge the judgment at the Supreme Court. Also, the judgment has been delivered as the struggle continues, but began sitting at 9:40 a.m. at the Court of Appeal, Abuja, ruled that the petition filed by Atiku and Obi and their counterpart parties had no merit and unanimously upheld Tribunal's and Tinubu's electoral victory in the February 25th presidential election. The 5-member took turns to dismiss the petitions presented by both Atiku and Obi. But reacting to the judgment, Keyamo, in a post on X, said the tribunal judgment has proved him and others right. He said, Daniel has come to judgment whether it is the fake US drug issue or the 25% FCT issue or the issue of IREF. Every single thing some of us have always shouted over ourselves or about during the campaigns and post-campaigns have been proved absolutely right. It only reassures some of us to always stand up for what we believe in, even if it appears to be against the temporary tide. Eventually, posterity will always vindicate the just. Huge congratulations to official Abbott for this judicial vindication from all the wicked lies against his person. Now it is time for them to have some sense and embrace his government and national reconciliation. Moving away from election tribunal, the family of late Ayodele Bosede, also known as Kuboy, on Monday appealed to the Ondo State government to ensure that justice was achieved over the alleged killing by a man simply identified as Ayuba. Bosede was allegedly shot dead by Ayuba in May 2022 in our community, our local government area of the state. After allegedly killing the deceased, it was gathered that Ayuba was arrested by the men of the State Police Command and later arraigned before an Ondo State Chief Magistrate Court. In his last arraignment, the court reportedly adjourned the case till this time. The Department of Public Relations, Public Prosecution would file its legal advice before the court while the defendant was remanded in prison custody. To this end, the family and the friends of the deceased appealed to the state judiciary not to allow the case to be tampered with, saying some political friends of the defendant had been trying to disrupt the process of justice in a bid to ensure the defendant was set free. A member of the family of a victim who witnessed the alleged killing, Mr. Ayo Abiodun, expressed the fear that politicians might tamper with the cause of justice and free the defendant, urging the state government not to allow the case to be swept under the carpet. Narrating how the victim was killed, Abiodun said, they called me on to come and visit him in Owo. So I went there and we went to have fun in the hotel. I was really scared as I heard that Ayuba is a notorious killer and I couldn't feel comfortable there anymore. So I told Schoolboy that we should be going home. Then he told me that he wanted to go and see Ayuba and asked him why Ayuba was in the hotel and how he knew he was there. After some minutes, I didn't see Schoolboy. So I went to check him out and saw that Ayuba suddenly brought out a gun and shot him. In a few seconds, I found a way to escape and ran for my life. Then I heard the news after some days that he had been arrested and detained in police custody. And I went there to confront him and accuse him of killing Schoolboy, and he couldn't say anything. We were later taken to the Commissioner of Police and explained everything to him. Begging the government for justice, Abiodun added, I am begging the government not to let the Schoolboy die in vain and let justice speak. In reaction, the State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Mr. Charles Titiloye, said there won't be any bias in the case, saying the court would follow the advice of the DPP. A container truck hijacked on Tuesday by some yet to be identified task force officials in the Mile 2 area of Lagos State has been traced to the office of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority. Information had reported that officials killed a truck driver identified simply as Tohib during an illegal patrol in the area at midnight. It was learned that a 30-year-old victim had just departed Tinkan Island when the officials who were in a branded white Hilux van accosted him at the edge of Mile 2 bridge. While they attempted to forcefully hijack the truck, Tohib jumped out of the vehicle and fled the scene. Enraged by his action, one of the officials allegedly shot the victim from the back, while his motorboy was also dragged out of the truck and repeatedly hit with the butt of their rifle. After carrying out their operation, the officials, who couldn't take the deceased victim's truck after the engine failed to start, decided to hijack another truck, forced the driver out and went away with it. Tohib's death, however, led to a protest, which was later quelled by the police. The spokesperson for the Lagos State Task Force, Badiyon Abdurrahim, also denied the movement and involvement of the agency in a statement sent for information. An official of the Lagos Maritime Truck Owners, who spoke to correspondent on Wednesday, said the truck was found at Lasma Yard in Oshodi area of the state on Tuesday afternoon, following a frantic search by its members. The officials, who does not want his name in print, said after the incident, some colleagues of Tohib decided to embark on a search to locate where the vehicle was driven to. Around 2 p.m., we got a call from them that the truck has been found at the Lasma Yard, so the police were immediately alerted. We were told that the police went to the place and discovered that there were two officials of Lasma responsible for how the truck got to the place. The Commissioner of Police had promised us yesterday that he would track the location of the truck, so he ordered them to bring the truck to the police command. The official had earlier disclosed that during a visit to the scene of the incident on Tuesday that the unknown tax officers moved around with some other uniformed men, including armed thugs. He added that some of them wore face masks to avoid being identified. The spokesperson for Last Man, Taufik Adebayo, said the truck was towed by a rescue team of the agency. A police source, however, confirmed to correspondent that the truck had been taken to the state police command. The truck was brought to the command on Tuesday evening after some truck drivers notified the police of its location. Investigation is ongoing to unravel the cause of the incident and fish out the culprits. The state police public relations officer, Benjamin Udayin, could not be reached as calls made to his phone were not answered. A text message sent to him yet to be replied as of the time of filing this report. The Ekiti State Police Command on Thursday said it had arrested 10 suspects in the connection to the death of a student of the Federal University of Ekiti, Modupe Deborah. The command's public relations officer, DSP Abutu Sunday, made the announcement via the command's handle on X, formerly Twitter. Sunday added that a late 200-level nursing student of the institution was declared missing within the school premises on 5th this month 2023. The PRO stated that Deborah's body was found in a shallow grave at a distance of about 30 meters behind the nursing lecture hall. Sunday said this is to inform the general public that the Ekiti State Commissioner of Police, CP Ogudari Dare, has ordered a thorough investigation into the cause of the death of Deborah, a 200-level nursing student of the Federal University of Ekiti, who was declared missing with the school premises, was found dead in a shallow grave at a distance at about 30 meters behind the nursing lecture hall. He promised that the police would ensure the perpetrators of the crime faced the full wrath of the law. While appealing to everyone to be calm, the commissioner vows that the command will do everything possible to unearth the identity of the perpetrators and ensure they are made to face the full wrath of the law. The command enjoins everyone with useful information concerning the ugly incident to visit Oyo Divisional Police Headquarters for more report. Meanwhile, the body of the deceased has been deposited in the morgue for autopsy, while 10 suspects are currently in custody undergoing investigation. Earlier, the school management announced the death of the students in the statement signed by the registrar, Muftau Ibrahim. It recalled that earlier today, the management had made public the disturbing development of the missing of the deceased and assured that investigation was ongoing to unravel the whereabouts of the poor student before finding her in the shallow grave. While the university condoles with the deceased family and the generality of the university community, particularly our dear students, the management reiterated that investigation is still ongoing and this is being done in collaboration with national security agencies to get to the root of the sad development and bring the books to culprits. From that story, we'll go to the foreign story. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says Nigeria has lost $100 billion to the decade-long conflict in the country's northeast region. In a report released by the Child Rights Agency, it said Nigeria lost the money between 2008 and 2021. The direct effect of conflict in terms of death and injury, loss of livelihoods, displacement, and managed infrastructure are transformed into long-term economic impact. This is because this impact reduces the rate of economic growth for the country affected by conflict relative to what it might have been had conflict not occurred, the UN agency said in a study published Wednesday. This study provides a quantitative estimate of the economic cost that arises from violence and grave violations. The study found that for the duration of the conflict, cumulative losses, the losses that build up each year that the economy is damaged, were around $100 billion. The monetary measures are an indicator of the lost development opportunities suffered as a result of the conflict. While noting the impact of conflict, it said the Northeast crisis has implications beyond Nigeria's shores. The impacts of conflict are not confined to the regions that experience those mostly acutely. Nigeria as a whole is worse off as a result of the conflict, the report added. Given Nigeria's economic size relative to the rest of the region, slower growth in the country may have broader regional spillover effect. That is, regional growth is likely to be lower than in a counterfactual case in which Nigeria was free of conflict. While commenting on the development, UNICEF representative in Nigeria, Christian Monduate, said even if the conflict's effect reduces in the coming years, its impact on the economy would be profound. Even if we anticipate a reduction in conflict effect over the next 10 years, the Nigerian economy still faces profound cumulative losses, he said. The scaring effect of this drowned-out conflict may inhibit the economy from achieving its full potential, putting the nation's future prosperity in jeopardy. Lastly, on sports. FIFA's chief of global football development, Arsene Wenger, says the Super Eagles are not pulling their weight when it comes to achieving success more in football. The former Arsenal manager opined that Nigeria should be winning silverware with all of the talents they have to achieve that. That's why he called them an underperforming nation, footballing wise. With our sports story, we've come to the end of today's world news from BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Tinubu welcomes PEPT's verdict, 6 collective efforts to build Nigeria. I refuse to accept presidential tribunal ruling, Atiku. It's bereft of judgment, Atiku rejects tribunal judgment. It's time for them to have sense. Keyamo knocks oppositions. On sports, Eagles are great underachievers, says Arsene Wenger. For more updates of our broadcast on our YouTube handle, our handle is Babagede Imo Television. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell. Select option all to access all of our broadcasts. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawi Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. For advert placement of goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on your screen. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. Good evening.